Hey folks, we're back with another episode of Three Men in an Anime.
Hooray!
Yay! This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friends and co-hosts, Eric Carlson and Gav Leaf. How are you guys doing tonight?
Not dead yet.
I'm conscious.
Gav is conscious. That's
legitimately an improvement over most weeks.
yeah.
Yes.
So this week we are covering my most recent selection, which is Bungou Stray Dogs. It's a Studio Bones adaptation of a manga series that was also turned into a light novel series. But it was a manga series first. That's when I can actually, looking at the dates, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
The manga is still running, as is the light novel series. We got two 12-episode seasons of the anime, and apparently there's an OVA, and there's going to be a movie coming out in February, apparently, in Japan.
Ooh. Cool.
Whether we'll get when we'll get it here in the States, who fucking knows? Bungou Stray. All right, so several of the series I've chosen have ended up being large ensemble casts. Looking at you, Bakano.
No. You an ensemble cast? Never.
And I guess sort of, kind of, Girls in Panzer too. Oh God, this is a big cast.
Jesus Christ, like 30 people.
Yeah.
We just counted it. 30 people.
30 fucking... And they don't introduce 10 of them until the end, like right at the end of season 1. And they don't introduce all of them then.
Yeah. I mean, this is we've done big shows before. I mean, like you say, Bakano, Nadesco, and a few others. Like we've run long on, but yeah, there are a lot of people in this show. But admittedly, they manage them all well.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Virtually every important character gets time in the sun to be awesome and do cool stuff.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Some of them are admittedly in there to do a job.
Yes.
And wouldn't impact the story as such, but there's no characters that are wasted or feel unnecessary.
Yeah, I would agree with that, actually.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. There's not... Despite having 30 motherfuckers, there's not a lot of superfluous characters.
Actually, I think it's 31. I forgot one.
Yeah, I mean, even amongst the main cast of those 31 characters that are listed, i.e., the ones that get names, there's a couple that are mostly superfluous, but they make sense, and there's a reason they're there. There's a reason that they exist, and there is a legitimate reason why they should have a name.
Yeah.
They're not important to the story, but they're legitimate characters.
Yep. So, all right. So I would say the show has a definitive primary protagonist.
Yes.
But it does have a couple of sort of secondary. Definitely has a secondary protagonist, and then there's a 4-episode mini arc that has another protagonist.
Honestly, I would say it has two primary protagonists.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's also a 4-episode arc in the middle of it with another protagonist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, of course, there is.
They needed a straight-up Yakuza movie in there for some reason.
Yeah, for 4 episodes, let's just do a straight-up Yakuza movie.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It was necessary for backstory.
That's the thing. It needed it.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was good.
It was really good.
It was.
All right, so the first character we're introduced to, and we're gonna do our damnedest not to blow by blow plot this because goddamn it, we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
The plot of the series is, while it's fairly straightforward, there's a lot of nuance and a lot of character development.
Yes.
Honestly, I would say, sort of in a nutshell, one of the things that we all liked most about the show was how the majority of the characters were handled, how they were developed, and how much we found out about them.
Yes.
Yes.
And the actual story is almost secondary to that, weirdly.
Spoilers, all of the characters are named after famous authors.
Yes.
And the authors we knew and the weirdness of their interactions all made sense and were awesome.
So we're assuming that this holds true for all the Japanese authors that are in this.
I have done a little bit of research, and yes, Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done so on a couple of them also.
Yeah.
I haven't, because I'm a lazy bastard.
Yeah,
Even if it's only a very tenuous link, there is at least something linking them back to the author or a piece of work they did or something like that. But the names, literally, especially all the Japanese characters, their names are lifted 100%. They are the actual name of an actual author.
Yep. So, our primary protagonist, well, the first one we're introduced to, and we're introduced to the second one very shortly afterwards, is Atsushi Nakajima. Atsushi is all right. So he is effectively our lead, but we'll get to that.
Atsushi's. So we introduce him. He's destitute on the street, having just been kicked out of his orphanage.
Yep.
For reasons that he doesn't really understand. He just sort of assumes that just got sick of feeding him.
Yeah, he's had a really hard life, and is literally on the banks of the river in Yokohama, starving to death. He has no money. He has nowhere to stay. He has no food, and he's sitting there thinking, "Okay, the only thing I can do really here is I have to steal money from somebody to get food. Like literally, that's all I can do at this point." Because and there's a wonderful little the scene where he does this is wonderful. He's like, okay, I'm gonna rob the next person I see, and the next thing that comes down the street is a group of basically a group of cops or paramilitary types marching down the street doing sort of training, and he's like, okay,
not
I'll
those
wait
guys.
for the next one.
The next one, car goes flying by. Okay, I'll go for the next one. And the next one is behind him in the river, floating head down with his feet sticking up in the air.
This is our other primary protagonist.
This is our other primary protagonist. Atsushi eventually decides to go in and save the guy, who is, and we're introduced to Osamu Dazai. Dazai is, well, he's less than enthusiastic about having been saved by Atsushi here.
Dazai's a kook.
Yeah, he's not upset that he's been saved, but
he's a little disappointed.
He's disappointed. Yes. Exactly.
He's not thing about suicide.
Yeah. He's trying to kill himself. He was trying to kill himself in a way that would not inconvenience anybody and would not be messy or painful.
Mm.
Now that Atsushi saved him, going back and trying to drown himself would inconvenience Atsushi. So that's out.
Yep. He's got this real, romanticized, not in a creepy way, but...
Well, a little creepy.
A little creepy. But it's a romanticized, attitude towards suicide. He keeps singing this song about finding a beautiful woman to commit a double suicide with.
Yes.
Yeah, it becomes a thing. It's like, okay, if I can't do... I'm screw the whole, single suicide thing. We're going to do a beautiful, tragic, romantic double suicide. So you want to commit suicide with me? No.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's more than happy to take no for an answer with that.
Yep.
Because, literally, again, he's looking for... At least this is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's looking for... he... Again, doesn't want to cause anyone any issues. And... It definitely doesn't want it to be non-consensual. I mean, that would be wrong.
That would be murder.
Exactly.
It's a double suicide, not a murder suicide. That's a very distinct...
They are very different things.
Important difference.
Yeah.
And
this is a weird way to start this show.
It's a weird show.
Danzai's a kook.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. Danzai's a kook.
Yeah,
He's a weird dude.
It becomes very apparent later on why he's got this obsession with possibly killing himself. And without spoiling things, a number of characters at a number of points throughout the show make the comment about Dazai that man would never die that easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dazai basically realizes that, Atsushi is, he finds that he talks to Atsushi a little bit and finds out that Atsushi is, on the streets, kicked out of an orphanage, starving to death, and decides, okay, well, fine, let me get you something to eat, kid. Of course, his wallet fell out in the river.
Of course.
Fortunately, his partner in the detective agency he works for is just across the river, and is very, very annoyed with him. See, God damn it, you're trying to commit suicide again. We're on a fucking job, you idiot. And thus we're introduced to Doppo Kunikida.
Kunikida is possibly one of my favorite characters in this show.
He's
That's
fantastic.
pretty great.
He is simultaneously has the biggest stick up his ass you'll ever see, and also that hidden heart of gold.
Yes.
Yes.
And god damn, he's got the patience of a saint for putting it with Dazai.
And he does, and there are times he takes no more of Dazai's shit.
Yes.
It's like, nope, I'm done with this. Nope, screw it. So
No, again, because we're not going to hit it beat for beat, there is one scene between Dazai and Kunikida where, as we've discussed, it's a detective agency they work for, and there's somebody there basically asking for help and and detailing their thing. And because it's a young woman, Dazai does the usual, would you like to commit suicide with me? No. Okay. And Kunikida drags him off because he's had enough of his shit. He does something else, and he drags him off because he's had enough of his shit. Drags him into a room, closes the door, and you just hear Dazai screaming in agony. Well, he beat the absolute living fuck out of him. And then a moment later, Kunikida comes back through the door and picks up the conversation that the girl's been describing while this has been going on, because he was listening the entire damn time.
yes. And the woman in question doesn't actually blink at any of this.
No.
Yeah.
And we find out why later. But
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Dazai's whole suicide thing is just a way to screw with Kunikida.
I would say that if we didn't see it during the backstory bit, he was still going on about this sort of thing back then too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
One of Dazai's running themes throughout the show is looking for. This is a running theme for a lot of characters: is looking for a reason to live.
Yes.
This is actually one of the main This is actually a big theme in the show.
It's whether it's the whole thing about your place in life, your reason, whether you've got not gratification. What's the word I'm looking for?
Motivation.
Yeah.
What gets you up in the morning?
Yeah, basically something along those lines.
Yeah, and for some of the characters with bleaker outlooks on things, they actually fall to the point of, do I deserve to live? This is largely where Atsushi lives a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's had it beaten to his skull that he doesn't at the orphanage.
Yeah.
Almost literally.
In the first episode, that the real reason he got kicked out is because they're sick of covering for his were-tiger ass. Because he's a were-tiger.
That is first episode, so yeah, it's not a huge
like, no spoilers there. The dude's a fucking were-tiger. In fact, a lot of everyone in the show, most of the people in the show actually, have some sort of superpower or ability that's limited in some way. Atsushi's ability, whole were-tiger metamorphosis thing, is initially completely limited to the classic full moon thing, and he has no control over it.
Yeah. But yeah, every
Dazai just turns off other people's abilities. He has to touch them. Nothing special there. Not at all. He never uses this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Just going back to the point, sorry there. I mean, of the if you're watching this and you can see the character like page on the screen there. I mean, we've already said this is what, a 31 cast member show, and at least 4 of them that I'm looking at right there. 5 of them in fact. Their entire shtick throughout the entire show is their reason for existence.
Yep.
It's either validation from their peers, their place in society, their place in life, atoning for past mistakes, or just their choices. It is a huge theme that runs through the whole show.
So, yeah. So, at any rate, Atsushi finds out that Dazai
had
and
that fucking idiot with the lemon bombs on it.
yes. Atsushi finds out that Dazai and Kunikito work for this thing called the Armed Detective Agency, which is this shadowy group of people with gifts who handle cases that the government can't handle. And as an exchange,
Or in some cases, won't.
or yes.
There's a lot of won't in there.
There's a lot of won't in there. So, yeah, Atsushi at this point doesn't know he's a were-tiger.
Yeah, that's the big point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big rule.
And so the two, Kunikita and Dazai, Dazai basically ropes Kunikita into paying for the food because, of course, he does.
Because it's honestly not hard to rope him into that.
No,
He would have done it anyway.
yeah. Once he found out what Atsushi's deal was, he would have, yes, and complained about it constantly.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he didn't complain about it, then people would take advantage of him.
Yeah. All right. So, at any rate, this is where Atsushi finds out about the detective agency. They talk about the case that they're looking for this tiger. Atsushi is at this point convinced he's being hunted by the tiger.
Yeah,
Right.
he keeps stating he's seen it a few times. When he turns around, it's like in the shadows, and he tries to run away. And he'll wake up somewhere and realize he's lost it, but he doesn't know how he got there.
Uh-huh.
So the first episode continues on with finding out there's been a bounty and other people looking for the tiger. The tiger is Atsushi. I'm constantly going to butcher his name. I'm sorry.
Atsushi is not the easiest name to say for us Westerners. I don't know why, but it just...
I'm just going to call him Kitty Cat.
But yeah, long story short, they rope him. They basically get him to help them out because he's got info in exchange for the food.
Yeah.
And Dazai comes up with a plan where he basically he's going to use him as bait, basically.
Yeah.
Well,
if the
that's
tiger's hunting him, then yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's what Atsushi thinks the plan is. Because Dazai has figured out what the deal is already.
Well, he's twigged that there's something going on. He thinks that's what the deal is. He's just not 100% sure until.
Well, of course, he's not 100% sure.
Turns into a kitty.
He's not 100% sure. He's not Ronpo.
That's true.
At any rate, so he turns into the tiger. Dazai shuts the gift off because that's what Dazai does.
Yeah.
It's actually a gorgeously animated initial fight scene.
Yeah.
Which ends with a great joke. Where Atsushi shifts back into human form mid-leap, face plants into Dazai in what would be your typical like romantic embrace. Dazai just sort of drops on the ground, not into guys.
Sorry, dude. Anyway, the rest of the agents of the Armed Detective Agency show up because Dazai's basically told Kunikita to get them, just in case.
Right.
And we're introduced to the rest. We are briefly introduced to the rest of them. That's the reason I want to talk about this, just so we can get the names out there. We're introduced to Ronpo Edogawa, Akiko Yosano, and Kenji Miyazawa and Junichiro Tanizaki. We're introduced to them here. We are told the names of their gifts. We know almost nothing about any of them other than Ronpo thinks he's smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
This is because Ronpo was smarter than everybody else.
Yes.
Including Dazai, and that's saying a lot.
Also makes Ronpo slightly infuriating to be around.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he knows. He know. This is the thing. He's smart, but by God, doesn't he know it?
The thing is despite that, the detective, the other agents all actually really respect him.
Yes.
So this leads to, basically them, Dazai basically offering Atsushi a job, basically. because he's gifted, we're gifted. This means that you're not going to, if we work for us, the government won't be after you anymore. And you'll have a job.
Which means you can eat food.
And a place to sleep.
Maybe even some clothes.
Yeah. And this leads to, early sort of, Atsushi having literally no self-confidence at the beginning of the show. Like, bordering on negative self-confidence. I mean... the poor kid. Jesus.
Yeah.
There's a scene...
big pile of issues.
There is a scene of his last day in the orphanage when he got kicked out that plays repeatedly with him, because it is for at least the first half of the show, it's his driving force. It's that proving not so much proving him wrong, but the priest told him he has no place in the world, he can't be happy anywhere.
Nobody will ever want him.
Nobody will ever want you. Go away. Blah blah blah.
Go die in a ditch somewhere.
Basically, yeah.
I think that's actually a line. I think it might be the world would be better off if you just died in a ditch somewhere. It's like, Yeah, this orphanage. Again, Eric's right. No small part of it was they were tired of covering for his wear tiger ass, but that doesn't make up for the shit they put him through.
Oh no, they were fucking monsters.
Yes.
They would have made they would have made fucking Fagin and Dickens
Yes.
blush at their mistreatment of children.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have them out stealing on the streets, but by God, that could have been an improvement.
It would have been.
At least they got
It
some
would have been an improvement. Like I said, Fagin would have been embarrassed for how poorly they treat these kids.
Yeah. Especially Atsushi.
Yeah.
So, what follows, there's a test to enter the agency. This is actually really important. And, oh boy, this pays off at the end, at the end of the show.
Yeah, like last episode sort of thing. Not
Yeah.
at the end of the show. Like last episode.
Atsushi, it's a test to see whether he's willing to help people with, and to actually be willing to help a complete stranger.
Possibly at the risk of his own life. It's the Kobayashi Maru, basically.
Yeah, basically. And despite his, self-confidence issues, he passes with flying fucking colors.
Yes.
The other important note we should make about gifted people in the show is all of them are screwed up in the head in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, they're all cracked and broken people.
The powers come in two forms: either massively, powerful but limited by their user, or potentially powerful but limited by a just ridiculous drawback.
Yeah,
for no real reason.
Sometimes we speculate some of them might be psychological. We're not sure.
Right.
Kunikita...
Kunikita's ability is he's got this real obsession with ideals and writing down little philosophical bits in his notebook.
Yeah.
He's also very fussy and fastidious.
Yes.
Probably has probably some level of OCD.
Just a wee bit.
It's one of those things that it's sort of fictional OCD, but still.
It's fictional OCD, but it's in the way that the Japanese deal with all mental issues. It's played for a joke,
right?
And Dazai just fucking loves fucking pissing with him about it.
So where I was going with this was that Kunikita's ability is that he writes something down on a piece of paper, and that thing pops out of the paper.
Yeah,
he could only write it in his notebook though, and we've speculating. You know what? If he could just get over his hang-ups, he could probably write it down like Battleship on a roll of paper.
He at one point does say that the size... he does list the limitations on his power. He does mention that it's got to be something he's seen, can understand how it works.
Right.
And it can't be very big.
Well, it has to fit on the paper.
But that's not how he phrased it. He seemed to me at least, he seemed to imply it was sort of coincidental, that it was roughly that size.
Hmm.
But
But yeah, something
It's basically nothing bigger than a handgun.
I've seen a
really.
battleship. I can look at the schematics to learn how it works.
If you've been watching My Hero Academia, it's basically the same power as I've forgotten the name now. Yayorozu. It's like that, but with a limitation applied to it because of his own hang-ups.
Well, he also doesn't have to understand the chemical or atomic makeup of it.
Well, yeah. But, like you say, books.
Right.
But yeah, it's rough. It's never anything much bigger than a handgun, really.
I mean, his most common thing that he summons is there's like a taser pistol and flashbang grenades. That's his go-to.
He does summon an actual pistol.
Old-fashioned gun. He does that a few times too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's another major character, and Ranpo's gift were introduced fairly early. It's about midway through season 1. Is ultra deduction. He can basically look at a scene of a crime or look at something, and deduce everything about it in under a minute.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Before you say that, okay? This is the thing with Rampo. To go about it, it's like he gets summoned down to the river where they've pulled a body out. And it's literally a body has been in the river for X amount of time, laid on the side, and they ask him down. And he's playing up for all the time saying, "Oh, I'm a master detective. I mean, this is just basic work, and it's a new police officer that he's working with, and they don't get him, and they don't believe that he's this good." And he's like, "Fine, I won't bother. Go on, try and work it out yourself." And
the chief detective basically says that. I love the bit where the chief detective said, "My subordinates are better than you are. Or could do this faster than you could." He said, "Really? I could do it in a minute."
Yes.
All right, let's go.
He's an ass.
Yeah.
And he starts timing the poor sergeant.
Yeah. And then Rampo basically, he goes, "Okay, fine, it's my turn then." Well, no, actually, while the sergeant's going through it, he shoots down his theory the entire time. And then he's like, "Okay, well, my turn." He reaches in his pocket, pulls out a pair of glasses, puts them on. You get the flashy ability graphic that goes off with everyone else when they use their abilities. And for the next minute, he's just explaining the entire theory, and it works out absolutely 100% correct.
Yep. He is completely and utterly correct.
Yes.
Here's the thing. While this is going on surreptitiously, Dazai has grabbed the back of his hair. Rampo's hair. We've mentioned before what Dazai's ability is. He can negate gifts by touching somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Rampo doesn't actually have a gift. He's just that damn good. The thing is, he is utterly convinced that he's got a gift because this is stupid and impossible.
Well, I was thinking about that, and it doesn't really show through until the second season. I don't know, like I say, we don't want to go through this bit by bit, but by that point, I fully believe that Rampo is more than aware that he doesn't have a gift. But as he states, it'd be really, I'd look really stupid if I just admitted I didn't know. If it turned out I didn't have a gift after all this time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The thing is, no, it wouldn't. It would make you look stupidly brilliant, like even more so than people think you are.
Again, he's hung up. He's in a catch-22. He can't, his own mind, he can't reveal himself without looking like a fucking idiot. And he can't admit somebody else to say that for the same fucking reason.
Yep.
But again, he has an ability, except it's the other way around. He doesn't have an ability, but he's applied his own limitation to it that he needs these glasses.
Which were given to him by the president of the detective agency.
Yeah.
Clearly.
As a tool to activate his ability.
Rampo is possibly one of my favorites, just because of that little mentality. It's like, I can't, guys. I know, but I can't admit it. I act like an ass because I have to.
Tanizaki is a young man. He's got an ability. it's called Light Snow. Okay, so here's the thing: the majority of the agents and the members of the detective agency, most of them, their abilities aren't really that great in terms of combat ability offensively. Kunikida can summon weapons, but small ones. Dazai can negate someone's gifts.
I think really there actually only really is Atsushi that's actually
Atsushi and Kenji.
Yeah.
Oh, Kenji, yes, I forgot about Kenji.
Kenji is this country bumpkin to the nth degree, who, when he's hungry, has super strength.
Yes.
The thing is, he hardly ever has to use it, like, offensively, because he's just such so naive and good-natured and friendly that it doesn't matter how hostile you are, just sort of go, yeah, sure, kid. Yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah. Again, because we're not going to go through it bit by bit, we're introduced to him and his power because he's doing this search for basically there's a bomb explosion. I think it's a gang war thing, so he's put on the case. And he's walking around town just asking, everyone knows him, everyone's friendly with him. Everyone in the market, he gives them help with their gardens and how to, all the produce and all this sort of stuff. And he's wandering around town and just walks into this gang hideout. He's like, oh, hey guys, just wanted to ask, did you have anything to do with the bomb over there? And they're all like, the fuck? No, we totally didn't. He goes, oh, okay, thanks.
And
then
leaves.
Atsushi's like, dude, they were fucking lying.
They were so obviously lying.
Why would people lie? I asked them a question, and I asked them a sincere and honest question, and they answered me back. And then, they turn a corner, and the gang's surrounded them because the gang's got suspicious. They think they're onto them, and they're just playing them because no one's that naive. And Kenji's like, oh, okay. So this is, and he turns to Atsushi and says, yeah, this is pretty much how everyone always confesses to me. Like, what do you mean confesses? Well, yeah, they just said that they did it. Yeah, and now they're going to kill you. Oh. And at this point, he gets twatted round the back of the head with a metal baseball bat. And just dies into a fucking pile of trash. Until he stands up with a car in one hand.
He stands back and goes, oh, ow, okay, yep. Picks up a car with one hand, and the gang's like, oh.
And apparently, it translates to his power being called something something along the lines of, no matter if the cows get unruly, hit them with what's to hand.
But yeah, until Atsushi shows up and starts being able to control his powers, Kenji is literally the only person in the Armed Detective Agency with an offensive ability. Tanazaki's ability is one of the more broken abilities they have access to.
Yes.
Yeah, because he creates illusions. Perfect illusions.
Really, really perfect illusions. And he's very good at it. He basically creates an area where he can just manipulate images like they were on a computer screen, and he had perfect editing software.
Yep.
And
it basically photoshops reality.
Yeah.
To the point where people could be stood right in front of someone, and he'll put up the screen, and it's instantaneous. There's no, that person could then just pull a gun out, blow himself away in the head. As far as you've seen, that's just happened in front of you.
Yep.
And he drops a screen, and the dude stood there. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yep.
It can literally make anyone see anything, and there is no. Until he decides to drop it, there is no clue that he's done that.
Everyone, you notice people notice sort of this weird sort of virtual snowfall. That's about it.
Yeah, they notice snow. That's it, which is why it's called light snow.
But they tend to only do that in the show. They only actually animate that in the show at the point where somebody realizes what's going on. Quite often the illusion's been in effect for quite some time.
Yeah. So yeah. Now you might be wondering, what is his issue? Because they all have issues.
Everyone has issues.
Yeah. He's got a sister, Naomi. Naomi is very, very fond of Tanizaki. and he loves her back. We're not. To the point where he says at one point, honestly, he would burn the world to the ground to save her.
Yeah.
Like, she matters more to him than anything else. Their relationship is played for laughs most of the time, and it's usually creepily funny.
It's that sort of cringe comedy that you get. It's like, oh, that's funny but wrong.
Very, very wrong. And Naomi is the one instigating it always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the second she's in trouble, the gloves come off with him, and it gets bad usually for the people who've done anything to threaten or harm his sister.
That's another theme of this show. Everyone has a button, and unfortunately for them, the bad guys tend to keep pushing them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And goddamn, Tanazaki's like one of the nicest guys in the team. He's super friendly. And then somebody hurts his sister, and he plows a truck into them.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, granted, one of these people happened to be a great old one, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, the other member, other person we were introduced to early on is Dr. Yosano, the team's doctor.
Oh, Yosano.
I love the doc.
Right.
Everyone in the detective agency is abjectly terrified of her.
Yes. And Atsushi doesn't know why. He soon learns.
I will totally admit to sort of crushing on her. She's awesome.
She's great.
In the first couple of episodes, Tanizaki gets seriously wounded. No one dies in this series, by the way.
Well, almost no one. Almost no. Lots of people die.
Lots of people die.
None of the main characters.
No
die.
one with a name dies.
Yeah, they're all fucking immortal, as far as I can tell.
No, there was one named character who dies. One important named character.
Yeah, but that was a Yakuza story. That doesn't count.
Yes.
Yeah. He gets absolutely riddled with bullets, but apparently he's not that badly injured.
Oh no, he was not on the verge of death because reasons.
Because reasons, and he's like, they get him back to the detective agency. He's like, no, please, no, don't let her take me.
So he wakes up strapped to the medical table. Dr. Yosano walks in. Walks in is not the right term.
Sachets in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is very clear she's very much looking forward to treating him. And proceeds to start removing her clothing. And then we cut away and we hear screaming followed by a ah. And you are led to believe, Eric,
she fucked him back into health. That's what you're led to believe.
This is not the case.
No.
It is far, 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 far creepier than that in a lot of ways.
Yes. The reason she took her clothes
so
off
much
is
more
so
fun.
The reason she took her clothes off is so they didn't get messy.
Yeah, see, it turns
she has
out
to kill you to save you.
Her ability is thou shalt not die. She can cure anything as long as her patient is about to die.
So she ends up trying to get him to the point of death herself and then bring them back.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go in there injured enough, it's like literally. I think it's Kunikida tells Atsushi. It's like, if you're not about to die, don't get hurt. It's anything else isn't worth it. And unfortunately for Atsushi, the whole white tiger powers come along with regeneration. So
yeah, he actually
was in that middle ground.
Well, he only gets treated once. Almost all the times he gets hurt, he actually regenerates the injuries.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
He gets a leg lopped off, and he grows it back.
Oh,
and the doctor's very
lycanthrope.
Yeah, and Dr. Yosano looks at his leg, looks at his legs like, wow, no scar tissue. It's not like normal what on earth? Dr. Yosano, she is. Here's the thing. She is definitely has a sadistic streak, like definitively.
She has to, you know.
But she is also very clearly a very dedicated doctor and genuinely cares about the other detectives.
Yes.
Like and she's very much a doctor. There's part of the reason she's broken is her ability. Her ability is so counter to the Hippocratic Oath. First do no harm. Like in order to cure people, in a lot of ways, she has to do that. She has to break the Hippocratic Oath.
Yep.
This has not been good for her psyche, but she's holding herself together fairly well.
Yeah. It also means that she's a fairly decent combatant in her own right.
Oh God, fairly decent?
Well, she's terrifying.
Yeah.
And also, and to the point where, because of her ability, if anyone uses lethal force on her, she just keeps coming.
Yep.
She's the fucking Terminator.
Here's the thing. When I mentioned that, a lot of them don't have a lot of offensive power in terms of their abilities. A lot of them are really, really, really skilled combatants.
Yes.
Dr. Yosano is very skilled. Dazai is a badass. Kunakita is abjectly terrifying.
Yes. It's like there's one scene where Atsushi's like, again, it's another character we're introduced to, and it's like he's off on his own, and apparently there's been assassins sent after him, and Atsushi's like, oh my god, we need to go save him, and Kunakita's like, Atsushi, come here. Okay. Try and grab my hand. And reaches slowly. The next thing you see, he's just been body slammed straight into the floor. He's like, yeah, that's the first basic lesson he taught me. He's fine.
I have never beaten him in a sparring match.
Yeah. But yeah, there's another one, again, we're bouncing all up and down the plot line where the bad guys who we haven't even gotten to yet send their super death kill squad to take out the agency. And it's a really big moment for Atsushi because he's kind of wavering. He's been thrown into a brand new world, and it's like whether he wants to commit or not. And he hears all the violence going off and runs back, and it's fine. The agency's just destroyed this fucking squad without even making much of an effort, and are now currently tossing them out the window.
Yeah, can't you sort of whoop, whoop, whoop,
Thump. Thump.
It's
the agency guys are terrifying without seeming overpowered.
Yeah, because they do occasionally get their asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So this is actually an important sort of story point which we should talk about because it ties into Atsushi's character.
Yeah.
We find out at this point that there's a bounty on the were-tiger of 7 billion yen. That's billion with a B.
It's a significant amount of money.
And the Port Mafia wants to collect.
Port Mafia being another collection of gifted individuals named after Japanese authors.
Well, they're
all mafiosos.
Yeah, there are plenty of non-gifted people in the Mafia. They are literally a Yakuza syndicate.
Yes.
It's just that they have a lot of gifted enforcers. And their boss.
And their boss.
But some of the more dangerous people are not gifted. But yeah, so Atsushi basically there's a trap set. This is where Tanizaki gets badly injured, as has Naomi, and Atsushi lost his leg briefly. And it's very clear that the Port Mafia is going to keep coming after the detective agency as long as he's there. So he decides that what he can do is quit the agency and just go off his own and say, okay, you guys come after me, and leave the agency alone. And it's legitimately a big character moment for him, and it's a brave action that is completely unnecessary. It turns out.
Yeah, they're all more than capable of handling themselves.
Yes.
Like to the point where when he comes back and like slams the door open, he's like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" and sees they're all fine. Kunikida's first response was, "Where the fuck have you been?"
Yeah. Well, he mentioned earlier that this could be the worst case scenario, and of course, what he means by the worst case scenario is we're gonna have to fix the office again. God, that's a pain in the ass. And we're have to. No, the worst case scenario is that he's the one who has to go around the neighborhood, apologize, get ready for all the racket and damage.
Yes, 'cause it's his turn.
Right. That's the worst case scenario.
It's his turn to go and apologize. It's like they're used to this shit by now.
The last member of the agency that we see at this point is the boss, Yukichi Fukuzawa. Fukuzawa is, oh my god, he is stereotypically Japanese.
Yes. He's like walking around in wooden sandals. He's wearing a
kimono. He has a katana.
Yeah.
He's a martial artist. He's got. Yeah. Despite this, I love his sort of very haggard, grim face and his sort of shaggy white hair. There's a lot about his characters that I really like, mostly in the face and the hair.
He's that super strict sort of boss, though. That they play him not for laughs, but you can tell that he's not a bad guy.
No, not at all. I mean?
Like, not at all. Because like there's one great scene where again it's down to Rampo. And they're trying to convince him to do something and help out, and he's like, "No, I can't be bothered. There's no. It's beneath my abilities as a master detective. I am not putting these glasses on." and the boss comes over and says, "Rampo, if you do this, I will reward you." And he's like, "Oh, what? More sweets and candies and things and blah blah blah." And he says, "No, I will give you praise." Rampo looks up at him for a second. Well, shit, if you're raising stakes that high. It's a great little... It just tells you everything you need to know about the boss in that one scene.
Yeah. Yes. It's great. He's a great character. We're not going to discuss his ability yet, because he has one.
No. But he's the one I mentioned a moment ago that
we don't find out about it until the last episode.
Right. Well, yeah. We don't find out what his ability is to the last episode, and oh god, it's a good reveal.
Yes. But as I mentioned a moment ago, he's the one that Kunikida trained Kunikida that we were just referring to. So yeah, the boss is fucking badass.
Yeah. So at any rate, we're then slowly introduced to the Port Mafia characters. And the first who we're introduced to are Ryunosuke Akutagawa and his right-hand woman, Ichio Higuchi. Higuchi is just a very skilled normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Akutagawa is the gothiest goth who ever gothed.
Jesus Christ, it looks like he should be on stage with Bauhaus and Sisters of Mercy. And he's awesome for it.
He's great. Like we constantly go, oh my god, how gothy can he be? He even seems like he has tuberculosis.
Yeah, the only thing he's missing is the black eye makeup.
No, he's got that.
He's got it. It's just not as no. He's just got it subtly applied because he's
he's guyliner. Okay.
Oh yeah,
because friends don't let their friends dress like the crow.
Right.
Yeah.
I adore his character design. And he's basically we introduce him very early, and Atsushi's told under no uncertain terms, stay away from this guy. If you see him, run. Like Kunikid is like, I would have trouble fighting this guy. Like, no. Of course, this is the first of the Port Mafia that, Atsushi runs into, and he's trapped in a dead-end alley. Akutagawa's ability, it's called Rashomon, and he can just summon tendrils of darkness and that can turn to like dragon heads and blades and shields, and it basically can devour anything that crosses the space they come.
Yeah, including the space itself between them.
It's a pretty kick-ass power, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Literally
It's
the one.
probably my favorite power in the show. And there are some
Literally-
really good powers in
He's
it.
got literally one drawback. Really, is that it takes time for him to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's gotten much faster at doing it, but
But it's not instinctual.
It's not instinctual. It's he's trying to get to that point, but like he's got to activate stuff, and he's
Plus,
not.
if he exerts himself too much, he coughs up blood.
Well, yes, he's also physically very frail. And he is not. He's not a strategist or a tactician.
He's a
He's a
force
blunt instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got good instincts for his line of work, as it were, and
Which is a leg breaker for the Mafia.
yeah. They're basically he's one of their heaviest hitters and one of their big enforcers. Honestly, at this point, he's probably their second heaviest hitter.
Yeah. The thing with Higuchi, she's there. She's basically his leash, as best as she can be, at the very least.
Yes.
Because again, this is one of her things. Is she's a normal in this world of supers, and it's even Akutagawa drags her down all the time. Like you make a stupid decision. Stop being stupid. You're just mortal. You're human. You don't have these powers. Stop trying. Get out of my way. You're in the way. Constant, not nastily, but berating her because she's beneath him.
Also, she's legitimately getting herself into positions where she could get killed, and she is one of his. And despite all of this, she is his subordinate, and he does, in his own twisted way, care about her well-being.
Here's the thing: when he rips into her, it's sort of like him going, "Oh my God, he could have been killed. Why would you do that?" And instead, he's going, "The fuck did you do that? You could have been killed."
Yeah,
and he's very brutal about correcting her mistakes, but she makes some.
Yeah.
But there's one scene where after he's been really badly injured and ends up being kidnapped by people who have a score to settle with him, because there are a lot of people with scores to settle with him.
yeah.
She basically goes off to rescue him on her own because, well, the boss has basically said, I really can't get directly involved because this is, it's literally a personal issue between him and the people who've taken him. And if the port mafia as a whole gets involved, it'll start a gang war.
Yeah. But this comes back to the whole thing about people finding their place, and this whole episode is about her. One of the questions that put to her is like, well, if Akutagawa's no longer around, you don't have a position here at the moment, are you sure this is the right job for you?
Yeah.
And her response is, of course it's fucking not, but he's my boss. So goes after him anyway.
Yeah, like the Black Lizard Squad, the sort of the enforcement sort of group, who effectively answer to Akutagawa. They're three sort of leaders. Two of them are technically don't have powers. One of whom very much has powers.
Yeah.
Basically, they sort of they run into her in the bathroom and they basically they sort of come to talk to her and they're like, okay, look. We answered to Akutagawa, and, we did that because we fear and respect him. That's how this whole Mafia thing works. We get that, that while you worked for him, we had to answer to you because of that. But because we fear and respected him, not you. So what do you got that why would we, what do you have that would make us want to follow your orders at this point? And she decides, well, nothing.
Yeah.
So she goes off to save Akutagawa on her own.
Yeah.
Which, of course, is exactly what they wanted to see. They're like, oh, well, if she's going to save the boss on her own, damn, we're definitely backing her up.
Yeah.
She earned their respect in, just that one action. They're like, oh, okay, we don't fear her. We respect the crap out of her.
Yes.
It's a really great bit, honestly. And the best part is after they've saved Akutagawa, he actually is thankful to her for actually coming to get him.
Yeah,
Which I was not expecting the first time I saw this.
The first thing that happened, the first words after he wakes up is like, "I'm sorry to cause all this much trouble."
Yeah,
I was like, "What the fuck? You really are just a fucking emo, aren't you?"
Come on, Gav, be fair. This guy is clearly old school goth.
Okay.
He really is.
Yeah.
No one who wears frills in a greatcoat like that is anything but old school goth.
They pretty much cornered the market on cravats.
Oh my god. So, at any rate, most of the first season revolves around the Mafia trying to get Atsushi for the bounty. We're also introduced, in the episode where we find out about Dr. Yosano's abilities, we're introduced to Motojiro Kaji, the mad bomber of the Port Mafia.
The bad bomber what bombs at midnight.
Who has quite possibly the most
11s.
dubious ability in the show.
Yeah. Like, literally, when we found out, my response was, A, how the fuck did he find that? Well, no, not A, but how the fuck do you find that out? It's along the lines of the guy that first started, realized you could milk a cow, and what was he doing to find out in the first place?
Because his ability is that he's immune he's immune to explosions caused by lemon-shaped bombs. Ha! What?
I wish we were kidding, but he's actually got them in the picture there. He doesn't just turn lemons into bombs. He literally has to make a bomb, put it inside a lemon, and he's cool.
Yeah. He's a really weird dude. He's got, he claims he's a scientist. He wants to study what death is, which of course puts him immediately at odds with Yosano. And she kicks his ass quite thoroughly.
Yes, because all he's doing is throwing grenades at her, which aren't actually outright killing her. So she keeps coming back.
The other character...
She beats him up. She goes, "You look pretty hurt. Huh. Let me show you my ability."
This is after she told him what her ability is.
Yes.
Cuts away to another scene. Comes back. She's like in the engineering station on the train, having shut it down. The guy's pristine and passed out on the floor.
Well, the big thing is that she basically says, "You look pretty hurt," and she reaches into her doctor's bag and pulls out a giant cleaver.
Yes.
Like the size of her torso.
Yeah.
The other character we're introduced in this is another very important character in the series. As an aside, Akutagawa is very important. We'll talk a bit about that in a minute. The other one introduced here is Kyoka Izumi. She's another... she's a Port Mafia assassin at this point, and she's guarding the other bomb on the train. Basically, they set bombs on the train to get Atsushi to turn himself over to them. And Atsushi basically has decided, nope, okay, I gotta do something to save the people on this train. And she turns out her ability is that she basically has a stand from JoJo.
Yeah.
She has this ghostly female samurai with a katana that she can conjure and kick ass with. And it does a number on Atsushi, but he keeps coming forward to the fact that he can't control his abilities. He's like, I can't use my abilities right now, but I'm going to do what I can to save the people on this train. At which point, when the sword comes for him, his arm transforms into a tiger limb and he stops the sword.
He's very much sort of that's new? Okay.
Yeah, I can use this.
So he starts being able to use his abilities basically at the moment when he decides, abilities be damned, I'm going to do the right thing and help people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just be a sad sack loser. I'm going to do something.
Yeah, which is, again, I brought this up when we got to this point, which is one thing that really stood out to me about this show. This isn't one of those shows where, like a typical like shonen show or something like that, where the protagonist is like on his knees, he can't do anything, he screams out in frustration and gains a new power. It's not because of the situation. They gain the power despite of the situation. So they've literally said, you know what, fuck it, I don't care about powers. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
And the power, it responds and develops that way, rather than some overblown, I need to do this, I need to save these people, rah, powers! No, it's...
Yeah, he was going to act without his power, and the power came to him because of that.
Yeah.
Kyoka is a 14-year-old girl who has been assassin for the Mafia for about 6 months, and in this time has killed 35 people. She tells Atsushi this in a very dead, monotone voice.
Very resigned expression on her face.
Yeah. She's not happy about this. And it's revealed that
have a lot of control over her. We'll call it a stand for ease.
Yeah, over her gift. And she's not guarding the bomb so much as she is the bomb. It's strapped to her. But Atsushi's able to basically get to her and basically prove that she can't stop him from taking the bomb off. And he basically tells her to give her the disarming switch, which he pushes. At which point, Akutagawa calls her and basically says, "You weren't supposed to push the button. I'm going to set it off anyways."
That's not how this is supposed to work.
At which point, she decides that, she doesn't want to kill anymore, and basically shoves Atsushi away from her and leaps out of the train with the bomb on. Fully planning to die, but not kill anybody. So Atsushi's like, fuck that noise. I'm going to... Leaves out after, rips the bomb off. And goes crashing into the lake with her, into the bay with... Not the lake, the bay with her, because it's Yokohama. Thus we have the first instance of the two of them saving each other's lives in basically the same scene.
They do this a lot.
That's a recurring theme.
Yeah. It turns out she can't control her stand. It's controlled by anybody who calls her phone and gives the stand orders.
Yeah. Which, in and of itself, seems kind of a weird way, but if you look into the actual backstory I've done a little bit of reading on it.
Yeah.
And the reasoning why is actually kind of cool. Just to go through this, essentially, the whole bit about it is supposedly the stand wasn't actually her power to begin with. It was her mother's. And her mother passed it to her to protect her due to a huge thing happening at the time. And because of that, and because of her, again, here we go again, because of Kyoka's mental blocks of that time and what happened, the only way that the stand will respond is if it's given an order by her mother, i.e. the phone. Which means she has absolutely zero control over it.
Mm.
She's like the literal, unwilling weapon. So,
all this spirals forward. There's a lot of stuff that happens, but eventually, Dazai is at the beginning of this episode, she actually captures Dazai. And he's captured by the Port Mafia. This is totally not Dazai's plan.
No, not at all.
We haven't mentioned Dazai for a while, but he's always been there. He's always been in the background. He's always been commenting, adding, and helping.
Yep.
From this point onwards, Dazai becomes a very... Well, let's face it, he's a fucking terrifying man.
Yes.
Yes.
Dazai is a master manipulator.
Yes.
And is a certifiable strategic genius and just a general genius. Literally, there are two people in the show, as far as I can tell, who are smarter than he is. One of them is Ronpo, the other is the Port Mafia's boss. And it's arguable on him.
I'm going to say he's arguable.
Right. Dazai is terrifying, and it's not because of his ability, which is very powerful in a very limited situation. It's not because of his hand-to-hand combat skills, which are formidable. It's not because, or anything. It's because of his fucking brain.
Yeah.
Jesus, he's and
he is a puppet master.
And the thing is, it never feels like it's an ass pull with him either.
No.
He's clearly. His manipulations all make sense in the context of the plot. There's no, and of course I set it up all this way months ahead of time. It's like, no, you go back and you watch the scene. You can see him like pulling the strings to set this up.
Yeah. There is, to my knowledge, there is one time in the entire show where he's surprised, and that's only because he didn't think the Port Mafia would go to the lengths that they did.
Yeah.
And again, we'll get to that down the line, but. That's the only one and only time.
You're forgetting his fight with Lovecraft.
That's not surprise. That was more,
No, he was surprised, but there's literally no way he could have seen that coming.
Yeah.
This is true.
Literally, one does not expect that.
That was less of a, that wasn't such a, that didn't go according to plan.
That was more, what?
Oh, yeah.
That was... unanticipated.
I could never have seen that coming. Well, all right then. So yeah, Dazai's captured, and Akutagawa's basically threatening him, and he basically goes off to do something. I forget what. Oh no, he goes off to go through his... Basically, he's talking back to Dazai, and Dazai's... This is where we find out what Dazai did before he joined the detective agency. This scene.
Mm.
Because there's a scene in a bar early, in the cafe below the agency where they're playing a guessing game, trying to figure out what people did before they actually joined the agency. Find out Kunikita was a school teacher. Tanizaki was a student. And nobody has ever figured out, been able to guess what Dazai did before he joined the agency. And they've got sort of a betting pool going on. And we eventually find out in this scene, yeah, he was a member of the Port Mafia. When I say member, he was one of the executives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and the current boss were basically not partners, but they were equals. And it just so happened that the guy who's now currently the boss was the one that took the position.
Yeah.
Dazai could quite easily have been Port Mafia boss at this point.
Yeah. And honestly, Ogamori, the boss of the Port Mafia, is fairly certain that Dazai eventually would have killed him and taken his place at some point.
Mm.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so we find out that Dazai trained Akutagawa. Akutagawa was his protege, and he was teaching him. Kind of brutally. Dazai used to be a very bad man. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But part of the reason I think he did train Akutagawa the way he did is that really the only way he could get through Akutagawa's head. Because he handles his sort of, mentoring of Atsushi very differently. Because Atsushi's wired differently than Akutagawa. And an important bit is that Akutagawa and Atsushi very clearly become rivals eventually.
Yeah.
They can't stand each other. They don't understand each other. Etc. And we're coming up on the bit where they first sort of really they had conflict before, but their big conflict starts not long after this, because Dazai basically says that his new partner, which is Atsushi, is better than Akutagawa would ever be, and Akutagawa is like, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him so dead.
Because Akutagawa's got a seriously bad case of Notice Me Senpai.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ, does he have a case of Notice Me?
Fucking terminal.
Because the one thing he wants more than anything is to be acknowledged as being strong by Dazai.
Yeah.
Because Dazai would never give that to him. And that was because that's how Dazai decided that that's how he could get Akutagawa to actually get stronger and learn to use his abilities correctly.
Yeah, he trains him in the most brutal ways. I mean, we see one bit during the flashback mini arc. Dazai captures, again, without spoiling, but Dazai captures a bunch of guys, and when he goes to interrogate them, turns out Akutagawa's killed them all. Because he was a sadistic fuck and just wanted to torture them, and went too far, killed them.
No, they were actually, they pulled guns.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry. So, yeah, and he didn't restrain himself, he didn't try and take anyone alive, he just murdered them all. And Dazai's response was to punch him, I think punches him 3 times in the gut, pulls a gun, and shoots him in the head. But it does that because he was trying to get Akutagawa to... We've already mentioned about his ability. His main problem was he couldn't reuse it in a quick enough manner. And literally did that sort of level of risk-taking to prompt him to put up a shield. Yep. It was literally, okay, well, either your power starts working or you learn a lesson, or you're dead. That's the kind of man Dazai was.
Yep.
And even after that, and he comes up to him and says, by the way, if you fuck up like that again, I'm going to punch you 5 times and shoot you 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dazai was... He does it all with a smile on his face, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before he actually hits him, he basically starts going, "Oh yeah, it's a real shame that you clearly didn't I clearly didn't want to take at least one of these people alive so that I can interrogate them and learn things that would have solved the problem we're having right now. You of course realize that and realize there's no possible way you could possibly have taken any of them alive, right?" Uh-oh.
I think I fucked up.
Yep.
Dazai was very sarcastic there, which is not actually typical for him. I should say, he's often sarcastic, but in a sort of joking ha-ha way. This was bitter, cynical sarcasm.
Yeah.
Cruel.
And in a weird way, I mean, from what we see, it's never malicious. It's literally a matter of fact. It's a lesson he has to learn.
Yep.
He's not doing it for the joy of it. It's just this is how he's taught. This is how he's chosen to train.
Akutagawa.
Akutagawa. Yeah, that's how he's chosen to train him. It's tough love.
Very tough love.
Very tough love. Yeah.
I'd question the use of love in that
I would
phrase.
too.
Okay, it's more stick than carrot.
Yes.
Yes, it's all stick. There's a carrot in there somewhere. Probably at the end of the stick.
Yeah.
Probably flew off after he's been beating him with this so much.
He gets a
We'll have to
carrot if
find-
he learns what he gets a carrot if he learns what the stick's been teaching him.
Yeah. So anyways, Akutagawa goes off to go capture Atsushi. And in walks Chuya Nakahara, Dazai's old partner in the Mafia, who is there to fuck with. Basically, he says flatly, "I'm here to torment you and fuck with you because I hate your guts." This is hilarious. Also, I know you're up to something. I've known you way too long. You've
There's
got
always
a plan.
a plan in there
You
somewhere.
have a plan. I know you do. I don't have a plan. Oh, shut up. Yes, you could turn my power off. I'm a better martial artist than you are.
It's like, well, I'm here. Look, my hands are chained and everything. I'm chained to the sacrificial post where we bring all the prisoners that are basically about to die. Look, there's bloodstains all over the floor. I'm totally helpless. He's totally picked the locks already.
Yeah, well, Chuya breaks the chains, and then Dazai basically unlocks the cuffs, and Chuya's like, "Yeah, you could have escaped whatever you want."
I knew it. I knew it, you little fucker.
Yep. So they have a bit of a fight, and just before Chuya's about to kill him, Dazai basically says, "Yep, I was here for two reasons. One was to, find out who the hell has the bounty on Atsushi. And you're going to tell me. What do you mean I'm going to tell you?
Why, pray tell, would I tell you?
Why are I not going to kill you right now? Well, you see, I sent a letter. The boss, the executives are about to have a meeting. Why would they ever get together and have a meeting? Well, I sent them a letter saying that if I die, certain secrets I know will get out. Bullshit, you'd never do that. Yeah, but it'd prompt a meeting, wouldn't it? And if you killed me before they decided what to do, that would really piss off the bosses, and they'd probably kill you, wouldn't they? Fuck! I hate you so much!
Did we mention Dazai's a manipulative asshole?
Yes.
He's a dick. He's a glorious bastard.
And so Chulia basically walks out saying, okay, fine, whatever. There totally would not be information at Akutagawa's terminal. Nope, not at all. Wait a minute, you said that was the first reason you were here. Well, the second one was to screw with you. So you're going to walk out of here talking like a schoolgirl. Why would I do that? Well, you see, you broke me out of the chains and I'm going to escape, and if you do it, I'll make sure it looks like that my agency broke me out. Hate you so much.
Oh dear, he's such a fucking troll.
So Dazai does get the information he's looking for, and Akutagawa does capture Atsushi. During part of this, Kyoka has basically come to the agency briefly. She's, Atsushi basically takes her around town, sort of on a quasi date, despite that he doesn't want to turn her over to the cops because they're just going to kill her, despite that she's going to be executed for being a serial killer, basically. Yeah, despite that she really wasn't.
She didn't have a lot of say in the matter.
Yeah. But she, basically she sort of goes, they go about town doing stuff, and it ends with her coming up to the police station where she's like, yeah, no, I have to you have to turn me in. I mean, duh. I've known that. You've honestly been so much nicer to me than you really should have been. I know this is where it has to end. At which point, Akutagawa and the Mafia show up because he's had her bugged the whole time because, Akutagawa's not actually an idiot.
No, he's a blunt instrument, but he's a relatively bright one.
Yeah. And, basically, they're sitting there talking, and, one of the Akutagawa's, Rashomon blades goes piercing through Atsushi's chest. And then flings him into a van, and they kidnap him and take Kyoka with them. And so basically, the agency's trying to find him. This is where Ronpo has his moment with the boss.
Yeah.
She's like, he's not even a part. Why bother? Yeah, he's a part of the agency, but he's it'd be a lot more trouble than it's worth, etc. It's not my. Oh, well, you give me praise. Well, all right then.
All right.
And so Kunikita's given the keys to their speedboat, as it were, and he goes off to rescue Atsushi. And Atsushi comes to on this cargo ship they're taking him out to sea to turn him over to the people who want to buy him for the bounty. And this leads to the first big fight between Atsushi and Akutagawa.
And it is glorious.
It is amazing.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And just Kyoka's there also, and there's this three-way sort of argument almost. It's more of a two-way argument, but about, self-worth and telling people whether they deserve to exist or not, and, whether they have worth and such.
Yeah. It basically boils down to Akutagawa and his need for acknowledgement by Dazai, acknowledgement by his peers, and making them notice him. Versus Atsushi's almost the way that they describe it is it's almost like he's looking for permission. He's trying to earn his right to live. Versus Kyoka, who's at this point decided that she doesn't deserve to live because of what she's done, despite the.
It's more that Kyoka's rejection of the idea of redemption. She cannot be redeemed. Is the idea. She wants to be, but she's convinced she can't be. That there's no forgiveness for what she's done.
Right. And the sheer level of how much Akutagawa and Atsushi's disdain for each other's attitudes.
Yes. Because they both look at one another's outlook and think they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. And they're both right and they're both wrong.
Yeah.
I would say Atsushi's less wrong.
If you haven't at this point started to realize that Atsushi and Akutagawa are basically the two sides of the same coin, you've not been paying attention.
Yeah. Akutagawa was disgusted by, Atsushi's, complete lack of self-worth and confidence despite his obvious talent and power. And the fact that, he's got the stroke of luck and has been accepted by these tremendously talented and gifted people. And Atsushi's just disgusted by Akutagawa's, bloody rampage of destruction to prove his worth to Dazai. Although he doesn't know it's Dazai he's trying to prove himself to. Mm.
And the way Atsushi looks at it is like, your strength is self-evident. You clearly don't have to prove it to anyone.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
Right. It is blatantly obvious you have power and status and what the fuck? And, and Akutagawa was like, it's patently obvious you are talented, you are gifted, you are strong, and you are beloved. What the fuck?
They're basically both, I wouldn't say jealous of their positions, because Atsushi doesn't want anything to do with the murderous side of it. But
right.
the general, you're powerful, you have a place, you've got peers and all this sort of stuff, and you're easily powerful to do whatever you want in life, while simultaneously seeing none of that in themselves.
Yep.
Basically, they what they see in the other is everything that they think they don't have.
Right.
Yeah.
And it infuriates each other. It infuriates them.
But they also
they're mirror images of each other.
Oh,
right
they
down to
absolutely they right down to the color palette. Exactly. Atsushi's got wears the white top with black pants, and it's the exact opposite with Akutagawa.
Yeah.
I mean, Akutagawa's
she's got white hair. Akutagawa's got black with frosted tips because, of course, he does. He's been hanging out with Bauhaus.
Yeah. Yeah. Atsushi's main color is white. Akutagawa's is black. Akutagawa's powers are dragon themed. Atsushi's the tiger. I mean, the fuck.
Of course, they have to fight.
Symbolism.
Yeah, a little bit. And then they proceed to knock 10 bells of shit out of each other.
Oh, lordy. And Atsushi wins the fight.
It's Bones doing what Bones does.
Yes. And Atsushi wins the fight because, honestly, he's tougher, is what it boils down to.
Yeah. Because he turns into a fight of attrition. And that's when he's going to win. He doesn't have TV.
He's not physically frail. He regenerates.
Yeah. There's one great bit where Akutagawa throws up a shield to block this just huge punch coming in with full, White Tiger powers in full effect. And the shield cracks and breaks, and just for that instant, you just see Akutagawa's face just like, oh, this is going to hurt.
I mean, the thing we find out is Atsushi's abilities are among the most powerful offensive abilities in the show. And as an offensive fighter, he is actually better than Akutagawa is in terms of raw ability. He doesn't have the years of training and, honestly, willingness to kill and cause pain.
The difference is Akutagawa is a ranged fighter and Atsushi is the in-close fighter.
Right. Atsushi's much faster than Akutagawa is.
Yeah, Akutagawa's more area control. It's like it's the tendrils. It's very similar to, say, for example, what's his name from Naruto? The sand dude. Forgot his
Gaara.
name. Gaara, yeah. Very similar to something like Gaara, where it's, the ability, he just stands there and does nothing, where the ability does all the work. Keeps people at range, defends him, attacks, pretty much does everything.
And, dear God, his abilities are gorgeously animated.
Oh, yes.
And terrifying. At any rate, yeah, so Atsushi wins. And the big thing is that while this is all going on, he's about to... before the fight even starts, Kyoka's actually set things up to save Atsushi. She's planted bombs on the ship.
Yes.
While Akutagawa wasn't paying attention. And sets them off so that Atsushi can escape, which he doesn't because he's... fuck, I'm not going back without Kyoka.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't deserve to die like this. So he goes back to save her.
Is they've just saved each other's life again.
Yes. Well, after the fight, he passes out, and she basically carries him on the ship and jumps onto the speedboat with Kunekita.
Yeah. Because once more, they'd save one another's lives, because that's basically how they roll.
Yeah. This in large, this is so one of the things I adore about their relationship, honestly.
I love that it's largely plutonic.
Yeah, I do too.
And in pretty much every other anime, they would they would be banging by now, or at least thinking about banging each other. No, it's entirely plutonic. It's great.
It's almost familial, really.
Yes.
There's sort of big brother little sister sort of dynamic.
Well, that's
on.
the thing. They remember that he's 18, she's 14.
Yeah. She's a kid. I mean, he's not much more than a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and after this is Dazai has figured out who's actually after him after Atsushi. It's this group from the U.S. called the Guild. A group of gifted people from the U.S. called the Guild.
Yeah. Turns out pretty much every country's got their own group of gifted people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was honestly waiting for the fucking British Library to show up.
From Read or Die.
From Read or Die. God damn, this show could be in that series. It could be in this universe.
Really good.
So, yeah, the Guild. So the end of Season 1 is the Guild showing up. It basically is, oh, well, okay, their leader, Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald,
whose power is the Great Gatsby.
basically is like, yeah, okay, well, my attempt to buy the tiger, the bounty is clearly didn't work. I clearly overestimated the criminal underworld here in Yokohama. Fuck it. All right, we're gonna have to go in ourselves. So his first attempt is he goes to talk to the boss of the detective agency and to buy their gifted user license that allows him to operate a business with gifted people. And the boss is like, no. At any rate, we're introduced to the Guild, and Season 2 is largely the conflict between, other than the four episode backstory for Dazai, is the three-way conflict between the Guild, the Port Mafia, and the detective agency. Who are the Guild want Atsushi, and really are quite happy to burn Yokohama to the ground to do it.
Yeah, on more than one occasion, yeah.
The Port Mafia wants the Guild out of town because fuck these assholes, and we hate the detective agency, so fuck them too. And the detective agency's like, what? Stop!
Why are you guys like this?
Well, the thing is, because Akutagawa's out of action, and there are bigger things to worry about, the Port Mafia do tend to back off a little bit and focus more on the guild, which gives the agency time to focus on the guild until shit starts to get, a little bit too serious.
Yeah. So,
because the guild are not fucking around.
No.
So,
all right, we should talk about the guild members. We'll knock this out pretty quickly. So we've got Fitzgerald. We've got Lucy Maud Montgomery, John Steinbeck, Howard Phillips Lovecraft, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Margaret Mitchell, Edgar Allan Poe, Mark Twain, Herman Melville, and Louisa May Alcott.
Did you get Hawthorne in there?
I did, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're all gifted. They're all gifted, all these people. Well, no, technically one of them is not gifted. Technically.
Who's not gifted in the guild? Oh, right.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now because it's too fucking good. Okay, so Howard Phillips Lovecraft is not actually gifted.
Howard Phillips Lovecraft is a star spawn, if not possibly Cthulhu himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We find out he's not gifted when he basically attacks Dazai. Dazai touches him, and nothing happens. Well, I mean, nothing happens to Lovecraft. Yeah. Dazai gets the crap kicked out of him.
He's like, I can't nullify that. What does that mean?
I have no idea, but nothing good.
Not an ability.
That's not technically a gift. That's not possible. I know, but fuck.
Gift several times, and for Lovecraft, you'd expect lashing spooky tendrils. That's exactly what we see. And he gets shot many times and doesn't seem to care. And gets run over by a truck and decides taking a nap is the best response to this. He's not all there, and possibly immortal.
Yeah,
there's a bit where the guild basically, where the Port Mafia basically unleashes their big guns, which is a psychopath called Q, whose ability is to take over. Yeah, whose ability is to take over people's minds after they've hurt him somehow.
Makes them see, madness-inducing sort of visions and attack anyone around them.
Right. So he walks up to Lovecraft, having made him, and it's like that he's a member of the guild. That's clearly fits Lovecraft's description. He's like, "Hi, mister. Hello. You're Lovecraft, aren't you?" "Yes." "You're a small child." Q is a small kid, by the way.
Yeah,
Small
he's
children like things.
Well, look, the big thing is that Q says, "We should want to have fun with me," and Lovecraft's like, "Fun with a small child." Huh.
Thinks about it. Realizes
sees a party, sees someone making balloon animals. Yeah. Here's a Dauch hound made out of tentacles.
and Q, again, the thing we mentioned about people like pushing buttons? Q finds the biggest, reddest button in the world and hits it with a sledgehammer. Because he walks up to H.P. Lovecraft and says, No, I don't mean that game. I mean my game. Show me the madness. And Lovecraft's like,
okay. The thing is, Q hurts himself on Lovecraft and marks him with his power. He's like, "Aha! Now show me madness." And Lovecraft's response is, "That's what you want." And gets away and screaming.
Yeah.
High-pitched child screaming. Oh my god!
Oh, if it, like I said at the time, if it had said anything similar to that, oh, let's see what's in your head, or let's see what your thoughts are, it'd have worked. But that big red button of "Show me the madness" to Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over the course of the battle between the Guild and the Port Mafia and the detective agency, the Guild does very well at times, but is generally bleeding operatives.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with the guild is they gloat and they talk a lot, and they seem to always just stumble onto whoever they're fighting's button.
They're really, really talented at that.
Yeah.
It's a bad talent, but they've got it. Like, they've got, Tanizaki and Kunikita trapped. Steinbeck has, because his abilities, the Graves Wrath, he can summon grapevines and such that can like fuse with plants and such, and allows him to send his senses, and he can control them and do stuff. And so they actually, and they've been going after the staff of the detective agency to hold them.
Staff, their support staff. Basically.
Their support ungifted staff, which includes Naomi, Tanazaki's sister. And so basically, they're to take them hostage to get Atsushi, because that's again the plan. And so Tanizaki asks, "What are you going to do with my sister?" "Oh, hold her hostage, maybe torture her, all this stuff." And Tanazaki's like, and we're just going, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that to him."
Yeah. It literally gets, that little like trope that they do where when somebody's really pissed off, their eyes disappear under their hair.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they do that.
And you just hear this like engine, and comes around the corner. There's a delivery truck comes around the corner, and Steinbeck's like, "Oh shit! If somebody
better steer soon."
Yeah, no, it's my oh shit! If people see us, this could be awkward. Right, we need to. Why is that guy like steering towards us?
At which point Lovecraft goes, "Huh, snow."
Yeah. So it turns out that he's thrown up a hologram as old Tanizaki, where the road just follows the path around directly into Lovecraft and Steinbeck.
Yeah.
Steinbeck manages to get himself clear. Lovecraft doesn't really give a fuck.
No. Just plows him over. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, because I mean, at that point, you've got the idea that it might be it might have been a holographic truck to get them to clinch.
No.
The truck was real.
So this is, by the way, right after the line where where Tanizaki basically said, literally, "I would burn the world down to save my sister."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he would. Morality, ethos, that doesn't matter when his sister's in danger. No.
It's a great scene.
It's amazing. Hawthorne and Margaret Mitchell end up going head to head with Akutagawa at this point, who's in the process of recovering from the holy hell of beating he took at Atsushi's hands.
Yep.
Yes.
And he kicks both their asses.
Yeah.
Yeah, halfway, half dead. And it turns out that Nathaniel Hawthorne has his ability, the Scarlet Letter.
Yes.
But his abilities are more or less the same as Akutagawa's.
They're very similar.
Very similar, yeah. One is by blood and the power of God and all that sort of stuff versus the devil.
Yes.
And it's a great little scene with him. Because Hawthorne is obviously as a preacher, and Akutagawa introduces himself as the devil.
Well, no, the best part about that is he looks at Akutagawa and says, "Oh God, who are you? Who are you, Diabolo? What's your name, kid?"
Diablo.
So Akutagawa was like, "Fuck you."
Oh dear! And then yes, Margaret Mitchell.
Yeah, I love some of the designs because I took one look at Hawthorne before he was ever introduced and goes, "That better be Hawthorne."
Yeah, I mean, Lucy Maud Montgomery. She early on tries to capture Atsushi, and her ability basically allows her to create an alternate reality room where
with toys and a giant Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah. She turns out is very similar to Atsushi, except she was taken in by the guild and not the detective agency. And basically he managed with help. He, Tanizaki, and this very nice doctor dude who is totally not the boss of the Mafia. Oh, he's totally the boss of the Mafia.
He's totally the boss of the Mafia.
Yeah.
Managed to get them out, and so she's failed and is kind of in trouble with the guild. She actually, so eventually, Fitzgerald managed to capture Atsushi. And we revealed his actual big plan to he's basically he's had enough, and he's basically gone, fuck this, my people are getting hurt by this. I'm just gonna burn Yokohama to the ground. Fuck it. I'm not gonna risk my people anymore. And so his plan is capture Q. Fuse Q with, Steinbeck's grapevines, attach the grapevines to all the plant life in Yokohama, so when anyone like cuts a tree, steps on a root, or it hurts Q. Then unleash Q's power on everybody, on the roughly 20% of Yokohama, and make them all go mad and fight each other and burn the damn town to the ground and kill each other.
Like I said, not fucking around.
Yeah. And he basically tells he explains the plan to Atsushi, and Atsushi's like, okay, fine. I'll do what you want. I'll help you. I surrender completely. I and the detective agency will help you get what you want. And Fisher's like, okay, cool. We'll negotiate that after we burn Yokohama to the ground. And basically
It'll be a lot easier to find what I'm looking for once we're sifting through ashes.
Thus proving that he is not a good guy in any way, shape, or form. Clear before, but this was a sort of cementing the yes.
Before he was an asshole, now he's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so during all the madness, we actually see the Port Mafia trying to hold the town together.
Yes.
Because it turns out that the Port Mafia actually gives a damn about Yokohama. Like, yeah, they're crooks, they're bad guys, they're killers. But this is their town, damn it.
No one fucks with my town.
And they care about Yokohama being intact and, occasionally you have to kill people, but, this is just this is stupid.
There's no profit in this.
None. At least none they can see. And so Lucy actually comes to mock Atsushi in his cell that he's in. And basically, she has the conversation which we had several times between Atsushi and the other troubled children types, Akutagawa, Kyoka, and now Lucy. They're all orphans.
They're all of an archetype.
And she's talking about how he'd never understand what she went through. He's clearly been lucky all his life, and she starts talking about you didn't have to scrub floors,
Beat you with red hot pokers for the fun of it, and she shows off her scars. And he's like, first it's the burns that get you. After a couple of days, everything chafes and just moving is just agony. And he pulls up his shirt to show similar scars.
And she's like, "Oh." He's telling her I know I understand what you're talking about. I understand your pain. She's like, "You can't possibly understand." Oh no, you really can. Oh. Okay.
My pain is super special, unique. Oh, you have. Oh, okay. Never mind.
So she helps him escape.
Yeah, because one of the cute little quirks of her ability is when she puts people into a room, she has to create the door for the room, and she can create on pretty much anything she likes. So that door now leads straight through that wall, and you can leave.
So, before we forget to mention this, they're currently on board the guild's flying base, Moby Dick.
It's a Whale King. If you know Zoids, it's a Whale King.
It's a giant mechanized whale and possibly the best thing ever, and it flies.
By the way, this is Melville's ability.
Yes.
And so, Atsushi he basically says, she's had the doll and was mocking him with it. And he's like, look, if I can get out here with that doll, I can get to Dazai. He can cancel Q's ability by touching the doll and saving the town. And she's like, at this point, she's like, you realize that, if you leap out of the plane, we'll just, the anti-aircraft will shoot you down. And if you get through that, you'll just crash to the ground and die on impact. And he's like, don't care, gotta do it. She's like, you're really, okay.
All right, dude. Well, here's a parachute. Best of luck to you. Where'd you get the parachute? You're kidding? I keep like 5 of these hidden around here.
In case I have to run away from the guild. Yeah, she basically, she's going to stay locked up in her little in the room, and he's like, but you can't get out if you do that. And she's like, yep. Yep, I'm going to be totally safe here. You don't worry about me. Just come and get me at some point. Save me. That's all I ask. Try to come and save me at some point. As payment for me saving you, because yet again, another cute orphan girl has saved Atsushi's ass, and it needs to be saved by him at some point, possibly.
Yeah.
Seems to be a theme.
To be honest, as it goes along, oddly enough, I think if it does progress, if there is some sort of love interest scene going on, I believe it's between these two.
Yep. It would honestly make the most sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're similar ages, for starters.
Similar history. Yeah.
And there's definite sort of a level of sympathy between the two, that there's a resonance between them.
Yes.
And it's very different than they're sort of, the way they connect is different than the way he and Kyoka connect. As I said, that really does seem like brother and sister.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyoka and Atsushi clearly care about each other a lot. But it really doesn't seem romantic. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's platonic. They're droogs.
Yeah. I could see something eventually going that way with these two. But going romantically, but whatever. Now, of course, the guild eventually busts her out of there. They point out, you had to have known we had a plan to get you out of there. She's like, of course I did. He wouldn't have left if I hadn't said I was going to be safe, though. I love that little bit. She's like, of course you guys were going to get me out of get through that. I'm not an idiot. So yeah, Atsushi, of course, does make it to the ground through a combination of some luck and his tiger powers being ridiculously brokenly powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, and Dazai being a mad genius.
Yeah. Dazai was basically we find out that Dazai was well aware that all of this was going to happen. I'm guessing as soon as he realized that Atsushi had been kidnapped. When Atsushi lands, he's trying to find Dazai while dodging the anti-aircraft cannons from Moby Dick. And out of the dust comes walking Dazai. He's like, "Yep, good job." Touches the doll, turns off the power. At the same time, fires off a load of little party crackers that is set up around the street, which throw up a pink cloud of dust, so the guns can't see them anymore.
Yeah, it shuts off all the Moby Dick sensors for a while they escape.
Yeah, cause it's like electronic chaff.
And the thing is that what Dazai's been doing here isn't that he knew this was going to happen. Is that he knew this was a possibility and had planned for that possibility.
Yes.
So okay, Atsushi's been captured by the guild. It is possible he will escape with Q's doll. If he does, he'll come down somewhere in this area. I gotta be prepped for it if he does come down. Because this is literally the only thing that can possibly what else can we do to possibly save the town at this point? So I'm gonna prep for Atsushi actually escaping, and yes, he did. I knew that kid could do it.
It's like literally the only reason that the guild have kept up with Dazai is they've got their own strategist that we haven't actually mentioned yet.
Yeah, I mentioned her by name, but yeah. Louisa Marriott Alcott. Her power is Little Women. She can... Basically, she's a precog as long as she has information.
Yeah.
She can, as long as she can build a potential future plan off... She has information to build a future plan off of, she can create a plan that will actually follow that plan and will actually happen.
Yeah, it's a plan that actually predicts what will happen.
Right.
Almost perfectly.
And it can't account for things she doesn't know.
Mm.
And this comes back to bite them in the ass. Because Atsushi actually does suggest, like, okay, look, there's one thing we can do to possibly get through the situation. I know everyone's going to hate the suggestion. I hate the suggestion. Atsushi's like, but Dazai, the only way we can possibly stop the guild and save Yokohama and stop them from doing this again. We gotta make nice with the guild, with the Port Mafia, I mean. And Dazai's like, okay, I never thought you'd suggest that. I mean, that's entirely what Dazai was like. That's the plan Dazai probably would have suggested, but he knew no one would agree to it. But if it's
the guy who's
Atsushi,
gotten his ass kicked by the Port Mafia over and over and over again, yeah, they might listen to that.
Yep. Yeah, there's a very brief moment of mild sort of, I didn't actually expect you to suggest that. I mean, that's the right plan, obviously.
Well, yep, that's the right answer.
He is clear to say though as well that even he's not happy with this plan. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, nobody likes this plan. Atsushi doesn't like this plan.
No.
So we have this wonderful meeting between the two bosses.
And the both starts quoting Sun Tzu and Powell and Rommel at each other and everything. It's like, basically what it boils down to is we really can't trust each other far enough to do this, because the right answer is to betray the other as soon as possible.
Yeah, it boils down to the fact that, okay, we could pair up, but there's no actual repercussion if one of us turns on each other and wipes the other one out. There's no reason not to do that. Other than just plain old trust.
And we can't do that.
And we don't trust you, and you don't trust us.
But Mori comes up with a way to handle the situation. Which is, if we just without a ceasefire, without a truce, without an alliance, if we just help them, that can establish a basis for trust that we can actually work together to save the town.
Yeah. No one's lowering their guard. No one's, sharing information or resources or anything like that. It's just we've got an agent in the place where they've got an agent, and they work together.
Which is which is basically they're going to go rescue Q, go get Q, and Dazai's the one who's sent to do it. And who is the Port Mafia sent to help Dazai? If you guessed Chuya, you're paying attention. And Dazai's like, oh, for fuck's sake, of course it's Chuya. The two of them hate this.
They hate this, but it's
they also recognize that it's clearly the right answer.
It is clear to see why these two are partners, or were partners.
They work really well together. Their abilities complement each other. We didn't mention Chuya's abilities, did we?
That's because he doesn't start using them until here.
No, he used them briefly before this.
You're right. Chuya's got gravity manipulation.
Yeah. Chuya has the most broken ability in the show, honestly.
Yeah.
Possibly. There are people you can make arguments for.
He's fucking scary.
He is terrifying. He is the best martial artist in the Mafia, and he can manipulate gravity at will. Simply by touching shit.
Yeah. Well, generally he uses it to increase his own gravity. Like, he'll decrease his gravity to jump super high, then increase it again to come down like a fucking meteor.
Yep.
Yes.
Shit like that. And he'll make things hit lighter so they go flying. He's very good at using his abilities.
Yes.
He'll lighten his fist so he can swing it faster, except make it heavier again at the point of impact. That kind of shit. He hits way outside his weight class, and is much faster than he should be because of this.
He is terrifying.
And that's only when he's holding back.
Yeah, so they go in to get Q. They debate killing Q outright because fuck this kid.
Yeah, the kid's a complete and utter psychopath, and no one likes him. Port Mafia actually keeps him locked up because he can't be trusted. They only let him out because, well, the guild was pushing him that far.
Right. Dazai's the one who locked him up initially. Because Dazai's like, no!
This kid is clearly insane and dangerous. There is no scenario where he does not screw us at the earliest opportunity.
So yeah, they're saying he's like, so should we free him or kill him? And Chuya's like, I'm technically not under orders to save him, but fuck this kid. Too many of my people actually were killed by this kid's abilities just now. He's got to go. So of course Dazai spares him.
Yeah.
Dazai actually has a logical reason beyond just
Oh, absolutely.
Tweaking Chuya's nose. It's because, well, if we kill him, then you don't need me to deactivate his powers again, which means you'll kill me immediately after I kill him. So he stays alive.
It's like, God damn, I hate you so much.
Because that was obviously my plan. Fuck you.
But they leave and they are ambushed by members of the guild, whom they deal with quite easily, and Lovecraft.
Well, there's the fight with Steinbeck's actually hilarious.
Yes.
The not fight with Steinbeck.
Yeah. Because Steinbeck's actually powerful and dangerous. The problem is Dazai shuts him off almost immediately.
Yeah, Dazai shuts him off almost immediately, and then Chuya beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And then Lovecraft wakes up.
It's literally Steinbeck tries to whip a vine over at Chuya, and Dazai's just like, nope, you don't get to do that. It's like, what? Hey!
And then they fight Lovecraft because he wakes up and I'll just shut off his. Yeah, I can't shut off his ability. That's not an ability. That's just what he is.
And then he goes all great old one in front of them, and they're like, "Ha! All right, Steinbeck, what the fuck is going on here? I'm not telling you." Son of a bitch. All right, Chuya, you're gonna hate this plan, but you know it's the right plan because it's my plan. Oh.
It has to be your choice, Chuya. But, if you, take off your psychological limiters and go all berserk, then you should be able to collapse into a black hole. You just need me to turn you off. You say I don't have a choice. You say it's my choice. That means I don't have a choice.
Yeah. Because the one thing Chuya knows is that when Dazai has a plan, it's the right plan. And thus we have Chuya going all Graviton on Cthulhu.
Basically, because that is Lovecraft's true form. He looks like fucking Cthulhu. And and in a true Graviton form, he does in fact collapse Cthulhu into a black hole, and that's the end of it.
Not really.
That's the end of it. Honest.
Well, the problem is before that, he keeps hitting him, and Lovecraft keeps regenerating.
Yes.
And Steinbeck sort of starts gloating. You can't destroy. You can't. Whatever you do, you can't destroy him from the outside. Oh, so we can hurt him from the inside then.
Oh, god damn it.
And basically, Dazai been walking around because he's injured with his arm in like a cast thing, which was fake and had a bomb in it.
Because of course.
And we see basically, Cthulhu, Lovecraft grab the arm thing up, rip it off, and pull it into himself. And Chuya and Dazai's faking that it pulled off his arm, and he's like, no, it didn't. And at which point, he pulls out, and he's like, oh, so we can hurt him from the inside. Pulls out a detonator trigger, cut to the inside of Cthulhu, of Lovecraft. There's the cast, grin, click, boom, opening him up from the inside. At which point, yes, at that point, claps into a singularity.
What is it with all these animes and just throwing black holes around?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, at least they didn't build this one out of the core of Jupiter.
They don't need to. I've got a walking, talking black hole generator.
Well, to be fair, it does kill him fairly quick. It does start killing Chuya very quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing they mention, is the fact that he can release his limits, but he kind of goes out of control, and it's to the point where the energy will just use up his body. Hence why he was Dazai's partner.
Right.
And so Dazai shuts him off, and the line afterward, the bit after he shuts Chuya's powers off, Chuya's like, "Why didn't you turn me off sooner? It was too much fun to watch." Oh, fuck you.
It's like, fuck you. You're going to take me back to base, right? Oh, absolutely.
No, he left. He leaves him.
They left him there.
Because it's hilarious.
Because he collapses after the whole thing. He's unconscious for a while. We come back post-credits, and he's still there in the field. He's got his clothes have all been nicely piled next to him, but it's just a little note from Dazai. It's like, yeah, of course I didn't take him back.
I left him there, obviously.
Yeah.
At any rate, so it then comes down to the final big confrontation, where they have to stop Fitzgerald, and they have to take down Moby Dick. And so they infiltrate, and so Dazai and Rampo are planning what to do. And it's a brilliant little scene. Kyoka's been captured by the police at this point, and she's being held in a containment cell, basically on a drone plane. And the two of them come up with a plan.
They explain it's one of the ways that the police keep particularly dangerous gifted locked up.
Right. So, yeah. Basically, they come with a plan to basically have Atsushi infiltrate onto the plane, basically they will, when the Moby Dick's basically resupplying, they're gonna, because it's going to at some point. Tanizaki will fly Atsushi up to the Moby Dick. He will sneak on using light snow to get him in position. He will sneak on and disable Moby Dick, basically stop them from doing the really awful thing, because there's a wonderful little confrontation between Poe and Rampo, which we're not going to go through right now. It's a great bit, but
it's more of a blow off after the big action bit.
Mm-hmm.
It is fantastic.
It is,
but yeah, it doesn't add to the plot as such, other than gives them some information.
Poe basically challenges Rampo to a battle of wits, basically, and if Rampo wins, he'll give him the information that Gil's weaknesses. And so their big weakness is their base of operations, Moby Dick, and it's going to have to resupply and such. And so he sneaks on, unbeknownst, which of course was predicted by Fitzgerald, by Louisa May Alcott, but
right,
because of course it was. What she didn't predict was that Akutagawa would sneak onto Moby Dick also.
For a different entry point.
Yeah, the resupply helicopter, where he brutally murdered all their people. Because Akutagawa does not fuck around.
No, he's blunt instrument, but a very good blunt instrument. He is the best sledgehammer you will ever have.
So he's there because he's found out that Atsushi's going to be going there. I will say this: 3 guesses to how he found out. The first 2 don't count.
I mean, it's not told to us until a little bit later, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all part of Dazai's plan. Because of course it is. So, basically, there's nobody on Moby Dick, and eventually, Atsushi runs into Akutagawa. Akutagawa wants to fight. Dazai basically says, "Okay, look, give the communicator to him. I'll talk to him. It'll get you by him." And so basically she's like, "Okay, fine. Here, Dazai wants to talk to you," and then he throws it off the catwalk, and Akutagawa goes diving after it.
Yeah.
He grabs it. It's like, "Dazai!
Dazai!
Click.
Notice me!"
At which point, dial tone.
Because Dazai's a dick. But
So-
yeah, he's such a fucking puppet master that you'd think initially that he's hung up because he's just being a dick, and he kind of is. But by God, he's just lit a fire in Akutagawa.
Yep.
He knows exactly. This is the thing about Dazai. He knows exactly what he's doing at all times. It's not even fucking fair.
No. So, yeah. So Atsushi gets up to the cockpit and finds Melville there. And Melville basically tells him what's going to happen is that Fitzgerald's going to crash Moby Dick into Yokohama to basically destroy it. To find the thing he's looking, so he can make it easier for him to find the thing he's looking for, and just end this conflict completely. And Atsushi's like, "How can I stop this?" "Well, you need the control thingy, which is being guarded by Fitzgerald." "Why are you still on here?" "Well, I figure if Moby Dick's going to be used to do this awful thing, I should go down with the ship. This is my thing, and if it's being used this way, I deserve to go down with it then."
Yeah, it starts to become clear about halfway through that Fitzgerald is using pretty much every single member of the guild
Yep.
Yeah.
for their abilities. They're not altogether willing.
They're not all informed either.
All
No.
that.
Well, Fitzgerald very clearly considers the guild members his property.
Yes.
He is stupendously rich.
He is literally the personification of screw the rules, I have money.
Yes.
And we really find that out in a bit.
Yeah.
So, Atsushi gets up there to get the thing. They have this sort of conversation. And Fitzgerald kicks him around a bit and reveals what his power is. Which is literally, he increases his strength and durability for every dollar of his own that he destroys.
Or spends. But, yeah. Spend can mean literally destroy or toss
Well, it
away
spends
or...
on his physical enhancement kind of deal.
Yeah.
He has to spend it on improving himself, on giving himself power.
Yeah.
And it lasts for a while, but it's clear that it doesn't last indefinitely.
Yeah, he
Initially, I
burns
think
the cash for a temporary boost.
Yeah, he drops like 100,000.
Sort of like in The Great Gatsby.
Yeah, almost as if.
Almost.
Clearly, someone read the book.
Yeah. So, Atsushi's there, like, on the ground going, "Oh God, why?" And, Fitzgerald is... And at which point Akutagawa shows up to, have it out with Atsushi. And Fitzgerald's like, who the fuck are you? "Oh, wait, you're that Akuta something or other, Akutagawa." "That's it."
I so felt for him because it was clearly... Okay, let's see if a Westerner can pronounce this name. Kuma Matata?
Akutagawa. "That's it."
That's it.
Yeah. I love when he sort of snaps and points like, "Yep, that's it. There we go." Thank you. I was never going to be able to say that correctly. Akutagawa's like, "Look," Akutagawa's like, "I'm going to deal with my course first. Your dessert." And Fitzgerald's like, "Oh, no.
Yeah. In the one rare instance of somebody pushing the guild's buttons,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's like, how dare you think I'm beneath anyone?
At which point, the fight begins.
It's a great three-way romp that turns into a two-way romp, as basically Fitzgerald manages to insult both Akutagawa and Atsushi to the point where they're just like, okay, you know what, fuck this guy.
The best thing is what, again, he pushes their buttons. Because
Yes.
they're literally arguing with each other over who's going to get to fight him. And he just turns around and goes, oh god, you two are so alike. The fuck you say?
As they turn and punch him simultaneously.
Mirror image. These two, I made the comparison halfway through this fight. It's like these two are fucking Vegeta and Goku.
Yes.
It's that same sort of thing. They hate each other at this point, but by the end of it, they're not friends.
They're frenemies.
They're begrudging.
There's not. I don't think friend enters into it at all.
The rivals. They're rivals.
They are absolutely, and they through the course of they earn each other's respect, and they do eventually figure out what each other's deal is, and they still don't like each other.
But they at least understand each other.
Yeah, and respect each other to at least some degree. And they find out through the course of the fight they work really well together in a fight.
It's almost like one of them is really offensive based and one of them is really defensive based.
Yeah, almost as if. It's almost as if Akutagawa was really good at supporting a frontline attacker.
Gee, who would have thought that? Dazai.
Dazai, yes. This was all part of Dazai's plan to get the two of them together
fun.
to learn that they can work together.
And they are really good at it.
Because, yeah. So, yeah, they unsurprisingly, they beat Fitzgerald.
Yes.
But it's a great fight. It's really cool. They have to combine their abilities to do it.
The thing is, you see during the fight, during Fitzgerald's ranting, you find out exactly what his bag is, too.
Yep.
He's literally, putting everything on the line to, restore his family.
Yep.
That's his only thing that he wants.
Yep.
Nothing else matters. And it's like, God damn it, they had to go and give him a noble reason, too. Fuck. That's a great thing about this show. Everyone has understandable, empathetic reasons for what they do.
Yeah.
Except for Lovecraft, who's insane. And Q, who's a bastard.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it turns out that they shut off the crash, but someone hacks in to resume the crash. We find out later on who it is.
I love who it is.
Yeah, it's hilarious. During all this time, Dazai's communicating with Kyoka on the drone plane, and he's like, "I can teach you how to fly the plane to help save to do all this stuff. You know, you are not technically part of the agency yet because she's been hanging out with him after the rescue of Atsushi in season 1." And clearly, she's asked to join. They've made her sort of a provisional member.
Yeah.
Because she desperately wants to be something other than a killer.
Yes.
That's what she doesn't want to be a killer. She wants to, she wants to be like Atsushi.
Yeah. The only thing is, obviously, because of everything that's happened, she's unlike Atsushi way back in episode 2. She's never had her test.
Right. She's never had her test, and her general reaction to being put into a corner is to fight her way out.
Yeah,
We've seen it a few times where she takes extreme force because that's what she's been raised to do.
She's been trained to do that.
Yeah.
By the Port Mafia. And so, Dazai tells her what sort of the general structure of the test is, and she's like, I don't think I'd pass. And he's like, Kyoka, do you not think you deserve to be redeemed? And she's like, no.
You know, the best thing is about this whole bit, it's such a Doctor Who speech. It's fucking fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
It's like Dazai is he's like, Kyoka, how many people have you killed? 35. Oh, is that it?
He literally said that is literally, it's like, only 35? I forget the exact line. It's like, oh, you sweet summer child.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetie.
It's nice if you think that's
if killing 35 people is irredeemable, completely irredeemable. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
Who the fuck do you think? Who in the hell do you think I am?
I mean, admittedly, he uses Atsushi as the example that he was a raging beast until he joined. And,
because of course he doesn't tell her, because that would none of this would work if he did.
Tell anyone who used to be a part of the Port Mafia.
Well, yeah,
everyone figures it out.
Well, except Nikita.
Yeah, because it's hilarious that he does.
It's a great fucking scene. I need to jump back to that one.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's a great scene where like they're working out the plan about working with the Port Mafia with the boss, and Kunikida walks in and overhears. He's like, because he hasn't been involved in any of this. He walks in. He's like, wait, what? Yeah, we're gonna have a sit down with the Port Mafia and work out and join. What? How? How did you even work this out? Well, Dazai used to be Port Mafia. What?
What? Wait, what? Oh, right, you weren't here when we told everyone found out.
And like, it's all agreed, done, dusted. The boss walks up, and it's great because Kunikida's just stood there with a look of like, it's not like one of those typical anime, perplexed faces. He's just stood, watching the boss leave, like calmly. Looks back for a second. Looks back. The fuck has been going on?
It's one of the scenes that it's just one of the it's one of the many moments why we love Kunikida.
Yes,
Kunikida's great.
So at any rate, Dazai basically tells her that look, okay, the Moby Dick's about to crash the city and kill everybody, including Atsushi on board. I can teach you how to fly the drone, so you can, and she's like, okay, and she decides, fine. Yep, this is your chance to actually protect people and to save Atsushi, and it's all this stuff again. And so she basically is like, yep, I'm gonna ram the drone into Moby Dick, and we'll drive it into the bay instead of into the town. And she basically tells she calms Atsushi on board Moby Dick because they're trying to figure out how to get it to try to do anything with it, but they can't. And she tells him what's going to happen, and she tells him to get off the plane. And he's like, off Moby Dick. He's like, well, you're going to get off the plane too. Well, no, I'm kind of chained here. I'm done for.
I'm screwed.
But this is my choice. And that's the thing Dazai explained to me. I have a choice, and it may not be the best choice, but it's the right choice. So get out, and Atsushi, of course, is desperately trying not to. Akutagawa's like, okay, for fuck's sake. And just grabs him.
God damn it, kid.
Me, just showing once and for all that he still doesn't get what Dazai's been trying to show him.
Yeah.
His whole reaction is, well, that's stupid. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I love the thing. Akutagawa was like, wow, if she hadn't decided to try to be all moral and good, she wouldn't have to die this lame way. But whatever. Which of course pisses Atsushi off, and he's off. But he's like, I love the fact that Akutagawa was like, fuck it, and grabs him and pulls him off the Moby Dick and saves him. Gets him off the. It's like. Because it's a case of I'm still not entirely certain. Well, I know I do know what part of the thing is. They had the little conversation they had after they fought Fitzgerald, where it's like Akutagawa points out that dude, you are powerful. You don't need to prove you deserve to exist. The words of your past mean nothing. Your future is what matters, kid. And Atsushi like I think Dazai approved of you a long time ago. Akutagawa was like,
what?
Oh. Oh. So, the crash happens, etc., and, they're on the shore, and they're met by Dazai and the president of the agency.
Who had just stood there waiting.
Yes.
Like,
shit-eating grins on their faces.
No, the president does not have a shit-eating grin on his face. He does not smile.
Oh, he was smirking there.
Exactly. He was smirking.
That's a shit-eating grin for him.
To a shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
That is his shit-eating grin, is a mild smirk. Dazai, on the other hand, definitely shit-eating grin.
Definitely a shit-eating grin.
As Dazai explains that, this was Kyoka's test. And, so... Yeah, it turns out that they explain the president's ability at this point. All men are created equal. So anybody who actually is one of his subordinates, he can modify and sort of control the effectiveness of their gifts. Which is why Atsushi's been able to actually been able to use his powers himself.
Yeah, he can basically limit the powers so that his subordinates can get a hold of them. Can actually, basically it's training wheels. He can help them get over their limitations and all that kind of thing by basically making their powers a little bit more manageable and gradually, giving them control over things.
Right.
And do that at will.
But they have to actually prove that they deserve to be part of the agency.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyoka has just passed this test with flying colors.
Yep.
So, the second the plane's about to crash, she all of a sudden can control her abilities. So, wait, I can... Right, Snow Demon, cut the cuffs off me and get me the fuck out of this goddamn drone.
And she, at that exact moment, touches down next to them.
Yep.
She comes up out of the water and I love the moment of Atsushi sort of looking and seeing that she's alive, and it's just this. This is the moment where
hugs her.
Yeah, it's
really sweet.
Yeah, absolutely, it's really sweet. It is the classic big brother, sort of like, oh my god, I'm so glad my sister's alive.
Yeah.
And she's
at the same time. Sorry, at the same time, Dazai walks over to
Akutagawa was standing there. He's like, "So do you finally think I'm strong?" He's like, "Oh, you've been strong for a long time, kid." Oh,
pats him on the shoulder as a little thing. He's like, "Oh," and stiff bodies just collapse.
Just thump like a tree.
And we basically cut to after that. It's the celebration at the agency of Kyoka actually becoming a full member, which is
a bit of a coda on the surviving guild members.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
their stories are not done; they do continue in the manga.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the only loose plot thread is who the fuck hacked the Moby Dick? Well, it turns out Dazai's been looking into this. It was Fyodor Dostoevsky, yes. Who was somebody Dazai's had an eye on for a long time and has been really fucking worried about coming back. And trying to get Atsushi and Akutagawa to be able to work together to be a cohesive fighting combo is something he's been desperately trying to do since he found out about Atsushi. He's been looking for someone to combo with Akutagawa for a long time.
Mm.
Specifically to handle Dostoevsky and his people.
Briefly with the guild member coda, because I think this is hilarious. Yeah, basically 3 of the surviving guild members chatting about what they're going to do. 2 of them say they're going to try to rebuild the guild because it's already fallen into infighting now that Fitzgerald is out of the picture. Another one says, "I'm just going to retire. I'm going to go home." I forget who that was. And then Lovecraft comes shambling out of the shadows. "Well, what about you? My contract is done. So what are you going to do now?" "I sleep." And he dives into the water.
The one who was going to basically retire was Twain. He said, "I'm going to go finish
That's
my
right.
autobiography."
Twain was going to retire. Mark Twain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steinbeck was going to go try to rebuild the guild.
Steinbeck was going to rebuild the guild. Was going to try to rebuild the guild.
And Louisa May Alcott was going to go see if she could find Fitzgerald, but she's convinced he's alive.
Yes. And it turns out, no, not even a black hole can kill Cthulhu.
The only other guild member at this point that we know about as well is that Poe has just invited himself randomly to. He's a guild member, but he's at the celebration party with everyone else because he went to talk to Rampo.
Yes.
And Rampo invited him in.
And he's very sort of confused and sort of it's like really ill at ease until like he realizes nobody's paying attention to him and he can sit down in the corner quietly and just watch.
Yes.
Until one of the girls spots his pet raccoon, and then all of a sudden it's, oh my god, it's an animal! Furry!
It's adorable! It is an adorable raccoon.
To be fair, there's doesn't necessarily have to be one of the girls given the group there. I mean, seriously.
Good point. But I believe it is Kyoka that's hugging him at the point.
It is Kyoka who's
Yes.
hugging him, and Naomi and the other secretary are sort of woo! While the doctor's drug Kunikita off to go drinking.
Yes.
Yes.
Drink with me! Well, I don't wanna. I don't really drink. Drink with me. Okay. I love that chick.
She's great. But yeah, the scene where with Dazai and the leader of the Black Lizard, enforcer group from the Mafia are talking about Dostoevsky and what's to come is a really nice little scene, and it's sort of because you get the bit where Dazai sort of mentions that he's very grateful that that he could leak the information back to the about where Atsushi was going so that Akutagawa would go after him. It's like, yeah, just I made sure to get the information to Akutagawa's right hand woman, and she's of course going to tell him, and he's of course going to go after Atsushi.
I mean, clearly, it's what he do.
I do love that it just basically gets to the end and it's like, yeah, Dazai has been playing the entire fucking chessboard. Both sides. All three sides.
Because he's motherfucking Dazai, and he's amazing.
I mean, we've skipped over it, but there's a scene. I mean, the whole bit about when they were waiting for them at the dock. There's a scene earlier on between Dazai and Rampo that Atsushi walks in on and doesn't quite understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But it ends with the line, so where does this all end? The mountains? And he's like, no. The bay.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 so episodes before the end of the series.
No, it's the previous episode.
It's the previous episode. And there's a flying airplane going around the room.
Oh yeah,
Dazai throws a paper airplane that pokes into Atsushi's head.
Yeah. So it's literally this entire scenario has just been fucking worked out between Dazai and Rampo. The whole thing.
Yep. Yeah, when those two work together, it's really fucking terrifying.
Yes.
But yeah, that's basically Bungou Stray Dogs. I think it's safe to say we all liked it.
I really enjoyed this show, yeah.
But yeah, we should probably wrap things up here. We don't want to go too much longer. So final thoughts, I guess. As usual, since it was my recommendation, I'll go last. So Eric, Gav, then me.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed this show. It's smart, funny, has some beautiful animation, some wonderfully well-developed characters. I don't have a bad thing to say about this show, honestly. Like it does almost everything right. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about it. like I adore the relationship between Atsushi, Kyoka, and Akutagawa. I just butchered their names. I'm so bad at this. Is really deep and interesting and fascinating to watch. Lovecraft is a hoot. And the entire guild is a hoot, honestly.
Yep.
And there's some characters in the detective agency that could use some fleshing out. the hillbilly kid whose name escapes me.
Kenji,
yes. The boss, whatnot. But at the same time, they don't really need that much development, and to give them more would be to the detriment of the plot. It was well balanced in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I dig the show a lot. And I love the conceit of using famous authors and basing their superpowers on their best works, or at least their most famous works.
Yep.
Even if I don't necessarily know who the author is.
well, that's one of the things I actually like about it. Because I mean, if you want to take it on the surface and just go with it, then yeah, great. If you want to do that little bit of extra digging and see how things match up, that's there for you as well. You know,
Yes.
It's not. You know, you can look into that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm kind of of the same mind, really. It does fall very much into the same sort of genre as shows like Baccano and Read or Die and those kind of things. With that, you know, it's stereotypical, almost criminal underworld kind of vibe, but with superpowers. Yeah, I mean, the characters, as I said at the start, the characters are all really well constructed. Even the ones that don't get fleshed out are there for a reason. No one's there just for the sake of it. Yeah, like I say, it's difficult to come up with things, really, when it's just... I think the biggest thing I'll take away from it is that if you break things down and you realise what's going on, it is a very intricately... woven plot, very, very clever, very intelligent in its writing, but it never makes you feel dumb for watching it.
Mm.
It doesn't kiss its own ass about how smart it's being.
Nope.
It brings up things, and it has characters that understand what's going on and can explain it to the ones that don't. It understands that not everyone is of the same level. And you have the physical guys in this group. You don't have the big physical dumb guy, which is a stereotype.
Right.
You have actual people.
And that's another thing about the whole tone of the show. Well, the show's smart and incredibly well plotted and paced and all of that. It also the show knows how smart it is, but it never talks down to its audience.
No.
But at the same time, doesn't leave them out in the wind if they don't have a point of reference. It does a really good job of walking that line.
Yeah. I think that's my biggest takeaway. It's one of those shows that thinks like it's going to be a super smart show, and it is, but it never leaves anyone out of the depth.
Right. Yeah, I adored this show. I stumbled across... I'd heard it mentioned a few times here and there by various people talking about anime, and decided, you know what, I'll give the show a shot. I've been hearing good things about it. Let's see what this is. And fell in love with it within the first couple of episodes. I love the character. The character designs are all gorgeous and really well thought out. Eric spotted very early on the wonderful touch with Atsushi's belt sort of almost looking like a tail.
Yeah.
Yep.
So echoing his tiger thing, and and the more I look at his design, like his short sleeves and short pants, which are there to accommodate his increased forearm and lower leg size when he goes into when he powers up with his tiger powers, is actually just really clever design to explain why he doesn't destroy his clothing when he does this. And I adore that. The writing is honestly, it's not. I wouldn't. It's the writing sort of makes me think somewhat of, in terms of the level of, it's smart, knows it's smart, and gets away with it. On sort of this, on a similar level, not quite exact, not in the same way as the first season of Psycho-Pass.
Yes.
The thing with
It doesn't
this
draw
is
as fine a line as Psycho-Pass.
No, it doesn't. It's not.
No.
It's that's because it's not as smart as Psycho-Pass.
The thing with this is though, is it covers up its flaws with the attention to detail.
Yep.
So it's like the whole bit.
And no small amount of comedy.
Yes, but it's the whole bit with like Rampo when he's going through a deduction. He doesn't pull it out of his ass. Everything that he said they made sure to include in that bit. There was one bit where he worked out. I can't remember what the exact thing was, but he worked something out of a corpse that he was looking at, and it was just a flash based on the watch that he was wearing.
Yep.
And that watch was in the scene that we initially saw. We weren't looking for it because we're not detectives. We didn't know we were looking for it. It was there.
Yep.
Everything that Rampo sees or does or works out, they put into the scene. He didn't ask pull anything. And I think we mentioned it earlier as well with Dazai, the same thing. Everything that happens that he predicts or manipulates has been set up. It's there in the show.
Yeah. It's a smart show. It's fun. It's funny. And I adore the characters. They're just all... They're fully fleshed out, well thought out characters that feel like people, and I adore that.
I think that's my biggest praise for it. They don't feel like typical anime characters. They feel like people.
Yeah. So yeah, I recommend the show immensely. If you have not seen it, go watch it. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that was a winner all around.
I'll put it this way: I'm looking forward to the movie.
Yeah. So I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back next time with Eric's next selection, which is Eric.
I've decided to do something fairly recent, especially seeing as it's now more available to watch, and that's Recreators.
Ooh. I've been hearing good things about that one.
It's Eric porn. I'm not sure how much you guys are going to like it, but it's Eric porn.
It's fucking miserable then.
All right, so that's going to do it for this. That's going to do it for the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye.